What's going on, fam? Commander General Yohanna here. Had to come at you one more time to discuss some of the latest things going on with this coronavirus and COVID-19. I wanted to bring out one particular thing, if I could. I saw a protest on Fox News the other day. It was about a day or two ago. I'm sure most of you heard about it, from Detroit, up in Lansing, Michigan. Not in Detroit, but up in Lansing, Michigan. They had a whole bunch of protesters that gridlocked the state capitol. And they were out there, they had their guns out there and their Trump signs, and they were out there discussing the lockdown. They wanted the lockdown to be over. They wanted to be able to reopen their businesses. They wanted to get back to life the way they had it before.
Freedom is essential.
Our community is struggling. My husband is on unemployment for the first time in our life.
And it was very, very interesting to examine it, because what was really going on was you got a real good snapshot of the attitudes of your slave master and the spirit of your slave master.
We're losing our constitutional rights and we are falling under a dictatorship, and that's not correct. Give us back our God-given rights that are founded in the U.S. Constitution.
Your slave master loves his kingdom, and he loves everything that's going on, and he's not even concerned with the deaths that take place because he's making so much money.
We don't shut down the country every time a virus comes along and people get sick.
And so many of these businesses are sinking because they don't have slaves to work these businesses. Some of these businesses they small businesses, but some of them have 50, 100, 200, 300 slaves working in their businesses.
I have 3 businesses in Idaho that are closed right now because they're deemed non-essential. I had to lay off all of my staff. I don't know that my business will survive to open in 2 weeks.
And they want to get back to making that money. Others have hit a gold rush since they threw so many brothers and sisters of our Latin brothers and sisters out of the country. So many landscaping businesses and other businesses have popped up, picking up the void from those brothers and sisters who worked so hard to build their businesses, and they came in and stole them and snatched them up, took their houses, their homes in auctions, and have been living deliciously off of it. And so now they were protesting and wanting the country open, and it was a real good snapshot to see that there is a great difference between you and your slave master.
For our state to be opened up. We're tired of not being able to buy the things that we need, go to the hairdressers, get our hair done. It's time to open up.
They surrounded the Capitol with 3 lanes of cars, and they stopped, shut down, beeping their horns like they free. And listen, and the sheriff was told to not bother them, to don't interrupt them, don't stop them. They had AR-15s and AK-47s all slung all over their shoulders, all up on the state capitol. Once again, their kingdom, the life they're living in this kingdom is different from the life you live in. And they're saying, well, most of the cases are in Detroit, so the rules should really apply down there, not all over the state. And to them, it's an infringement on their liberties, man.
He's ready to stand defiant against this governor and open up business tomorrow.
He fights for his liberty. He wants his liberty. He wants his enjoyment in his kingdom. He wants all that he believes he deserves. And he doesn't even care if there's a coronavirus to shut it down, because really now it's in their minds that this is really a disease that's going to kill off black people, and they could give a damn about any of that. They're making so much money off of their slaves, paying them next to nothing, that they're concerned that these businesses will not make it back. But you don't understand. This is the Lord's doing. This is the beginning of the Most High separating you from them, because the Lord is about to break this empire, man. He's about to break this empire and bring this empire into your hands. I'm gonna give you a little bit more before I go into it, all right? And while they were doing these protests, there were some sisters who was walking down the street just on their way home from work. And as they was, navigating past the Capitol, they was attacked verbally with all kind of racial slurs. They were being attacked, cursed out, everything, because that's really the spirit of this place. Like, your preacher can say whatever the hell he wants. Your black politicians can say what the hell they want to say. But the real truth of this place is that you are in the slave quarters, man, and you've been in them slave quarters. And what they don't know is that the Lord is coming to get you. And they love to jump up and say, if you don't like it, why don't you leave? When they don't like something, they square off that Capitol 3 lanes deep and come out there with their guns and everything and say, we got rights. We built this kingdom. For us, they say, why don't you leave? For them, they don't care how much they protest. Like I said, the sheriffs were told to leave them the hell alone. And they left them alone too. Okay, to where a black person couldn't even walk past it. And here's what you got to see, man. You got to see that you're living in two different worlds. And the reason you living in two different worlds is because you are the 12 lost tribes of the children of Israel. You must open your eyes, man, and see that, so that you can now begin to come back to serving Christ, because we are coming very rapidly to the end. They had all kind of signs saying liberty and freedom and lockdown and how they need to work. And when they say they need to work, they ain't talking about themselves just working. Most of these cases of these people that were in this Detroit protest, most of it was them protesting because they got businesses and they got slaves. And they want them business. To them, it's work. But really, they the slave master. They the landscaper sitting over the business with, poor people struggling to make $1 working under them. They're the ones with the restaurant. Okay, they used to be filled with all our I.S.U.P.K brothers and sisters from Central and South America. But now they're protesting. And it's so righteous in this respect. It was so righteous that the Lord shut their businesses down because of what they did to the Latino brothers and sisters. You brought them in. You made laws for them to come in here and work. You made laws for them. You black people been here 400 years. Okay, and you still paying them below living standard wages, man. Taxing them 1/3 out of their paycheck, making their lives a living hell, man. And it's according to the Bible a living hell. And I'm not going by your measurement of what is right and wrong. And that's the problem. You want to go by your measurement or your so-called success in society, when you need to go by the Lord's measure of what is right and wrong. You understand? You could be a well-paid slave. One of the reasons the Lord let those arenas shut down temporarily because those brothers were well-paid slaves in the football arena, in the basketball arena, in all the sports arenas. And so the Lord is giving you a snapshot, man, so you could really look and open your eyes and see the world that you're living in. So what if some of the slaves die? This is how they think it. So what? You know what I mean? You overreaching. We should still be able to make money. They live in a different mindset. They're not thinking to themselves that this is all happening because we stole all the businesses from blacks and Latinos. This is happening because of all the evil we did. They haven't gotten to that point yet, but give it a little time. As the Most High works this thing out, after a while, you're going to begin to see they're going to begin to see. After a while, they're going to begin to realize enough of these plagues, and they'll start saying, what is going on here? What is it that the Lord is doing? All right. Here's what you got to learn. You got to go build your kingdom, which is to go serve Christ, to learn your laws, statutes, and commandments, to rebuild your family structures, to come back to serving the Most High, and then allow the Lord to step in, because he's coming for you. The Lord is getting ready to change the landscape of the planet Earth, and he is not playing. Let me get something for you real quick. Go to Lamentations 1:1. First chapter of Lamentations. Such a powerful, powerful chapter. And here's what it says. How doth the city sit solitary that was full of people? This ain't talking about America. This is talking about our people and our city. How has she become a widow? She that was great among the nations. That's talking about us. Our kingdom now is sitting desolate. Our kingdom is a widow now. You understand? And the reason it says a widow is because we've divorced the Lord. We've cut the Lord off where we don't have a husband anymore. It's just like a woman that doesn't have a husband. She's alone. She has nobody to lead her. This is what's happened to us. Okay? She that was great among the nations and princess among the provinces. How has she become tributary? And that's what we've become. We're tributaries, man. We sit here and get extorted every day across this entire world. Whatever country we're in, we are extorted. Why? Because we're the children of the Lord. Second verse, Lamentations 1 and 2. She weepeth sore in the night. We weep sore in the night. Our lives are horrible. You come home, you abuse your own kids because you're so angry and suffering from the slaveries you've been on all day. You neglect your children. Your children grow up in the streets because of the slavery and the poverty and the hell. And then the slave master says, what's wrong with the parents? The parents have to be more on top of the children. The parents are in the slave pits every day, struggling to survive. That's why they got bad health problems, man. Okay, in all types of ill environments. You weep sore in the night after the days of work, and her tears are on her cheeks. Among all her lovers, she hath none to comfort. And that's a very heavy point. The Lord said, among your lovers, you have none to comfort you. And those lovers, what it's talking about when they say those lovers, it's talking about you joining yourself to these religions and to these different nations' gods. You out there, Buddhists and Islam and Christianity and all these religions that have nothing to do with God's word. And these religions, you've married yourself to them and they don't comfort you. You could be a Muslim and your people still in hell. You could be a Christian and your people still in hell. You could be a Buddhist and your people are still in hell. No matter what you do, your people are still in hell. It isn't until your people come back to the Most High, 12 tribes of Israel, that this will change. Let me get some more. Okay, middle of second verse, Lamentations 1 and 2. All of her friends have dealt treacherously with her. They are become her enemies, man. All of her friends have dealt treacherously with you. All the ones that you decide to make lovers, that you decide to join their religion, you just become a slave in their religion. You just become part of that empire. If you become a Christian, you are part of today's society. You think like today's society. You act like today's society. You have the lust of everything of today's society. If you join Islam, you have the mindset of the Arabs. That's who you favor. You love the Arab world and you love the things of the Arabs and you look to them and they enslave you as well. And the same goes for Buddhism or whatever religion that you might decide to join. Instead of finding out the identity of blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians, you will find out that they are the lost 12 tribes of the children of Israel. Let me get a little bit more. This is Lamentations 1 and 3. Judah has gone into captivity because of affliction, man. We've gone into captivity, man. Because of affliction. We're afflicted every day in this empire. And they'd like us to not talk about that affliction. Like they stand up and make sure that they come up against anybody trying to, in the smallest, slightest way, infringe upon their rights. They moving on them. But you under affliction always. And that's why they love their police officers. They've shown more love to police officers now in the last several years under Trump than they have at any other time except maybe back in the 60s. And the reason for that is because oppressing you is a good thing in their eyes. It's keeping you from infringing upon them. Like they have no idea of the robbery and murder and brutality that they have caused all over the earth. And they have no idea of what the Lord is about to do to them. Let me get some more. Okay. She dwelleth among the heathen. You dwelling now among the heathen all over this earth. You in everybody's religion, you taking on everybody's identity, you trying to marry everybody else's wife or husband, you trying to blend in. You fall into captivity and you take on the lives and the mindset of your slave masters, man. But now as that time is up, don't believe the naysayers that say you still in captivity, you still support. Yes, we are still in captivity, but you are at the end of that captivity. It's time for you to wake up and get ready. Like this plague didn't come for no reason. This plague came, and stop. I beg you to stop listening to the dumb idea about where this came from and who's doing what. Do not get caught up into that bull crap. The Lord can use anything, any army, any disease, anything he wants for his purpose. And this came just for his purpose. And if you're out there and you had caught the coronavirus or anything like that, then you made a sacrifice for your people to wake up. And you a hero. You're a hero if you got that coronavirus because you made a sacrifice. That sacrifice you made is going to put enough fear in the rest of God's people to say, what is going on here? What is happening here? Now, it's not being said that much yet, but give it a little time and watch the Most High work. You are living a life of biblical prophecy, man. That's what you examining right here. Okay? She dwelleth among the heathen. She findeth no rest. All her persecutors overtook her between the straits. You don't find no rest, man. You among the heathens, but you ain't getting no rest. You are under stress. Your health is bad. You in conflict with one another. You have no rules to your life. You neglected by the empire, lied to by religious leaders, destroyed in this kingdom, man. And the Lord is coming to bring you up out of it. He's coming to wake you the hell up out of it. Okay? And so you were overtook in between the straits, meaning you were overtook in the battle between different nations, man, between your survival and their survival. Okay, and the straits means like the narrow ways where when you at a war and you battling through the streets, those narrow ways are very dangerous because you can't go anywhere and you can get overtaken in those straits. Okay, and the same goes for in the woods or in the mountains. There are certain routes that you roll through, and those straits, if you ain't careful, you can get killed in them straits in the middle of a battle. And the Lord said you were overtaken in them straits. You were overtaken, meaning you were overtaken through those narrow paths, following those religions, following those ideas, going towards their kingdom, man. It's a sad, sad thing. Okay. 4th verse, Lamentation 1 and 4. The ways of Zion do mourn, because none come to the solemn feast. The ways of Zion is mourning. You know what I mean? Like, we out here teaching and trying to wake you up, but the majority of us haven't woken up yet. These type of plagues are so necessary to wake us up. Like, we all love to read about the miracles that Christ did and how wonderful they are and how great they are. And that's a beautiful thing, and thank the Most High for it. And I can't wait till we begin to see those very shortly again, because you will start seeing those miracles very, very shortly. But we also got to remember the plagues the Lord brought. Okay, both on the Romans and so many other empires. The Lord brought these curses down on them. And as these things come down on them, you got to look at them for what they really are. The Lord stepping in and trying to open your eyes and really wake you up out of a dead sleep. The problem is you don't think you sleeping. You don't think you dreaming. You've been living a dream world in this empire. And now it's time for you to wake up and come back to the Lord. Let me get a little bit more. The ways of Zion, this is Lamentations 1 and 4. The ways of Zion do mourn, because none come to the solemn feast. Meaning nobody respect the law, the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments no more. Instead, we protesting Easter and Valentine's Day. The Lord shut down Easter, man. He shut it down. And he shut it down because those are not the days of the Lord. Okay? He shut down those days. None of our people are looking for what they should be looking for, which is the Lord's day. Let me get some more. All her gates are desolate, man. Her priests sigh. All her gates are desolate. And the reason it says gates is because just like it says in Jeremiah 14:2, her gates languisheth. The same right here. It says her gates are desolate, meaning there's nobody protecting you. There's nobody watching over you. There's nobody stopping other nations from doing the things they do to you. You see how they went out there and protested? They fighting for their rights and standing up for their rights and coming together to make sure that governor, their own governor, doesn't overthrow them or take away their rights. Well, there are nobody on the gates for you. Who's supposed to be on the gates is supposed to be your religious leaders, your politicians. They're the ones that's supposed to be on the gates, but they're not on the gates when it comes to you. They're not on the gate. So there's nobody manning the gate. Just like a gate is to protect your home. You build a house, you put a gate around it. That gate is so that anybody doesn't just walk into your house or walk onto your property. Well, guess what? Nations have gates too. Those gates are their leaders, man. And your gates, nobody's manning the gate. The people that's supposed to be manning the gate have joined the enemy, man, and have not manned the gates. It says her middle of 4, Lamentations 1 and 4. Her priests sighed. Like when you sigh, that means you're sad. Like, oh. And that's how we are. Okay? We sad at what we see happening to our people. We sad at the abuse that they're suffering. We're sad at the second-class citizenship that they're under. We're sad at the health conditions. Like I brought out, it was so spiritual how the Attorney General, the Surgeon General, I keep saying Attorney General, the Surgeon General came out and said, blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians, man, out of all the nations on the earth, there are almost 300 different nations on this earth. Almost everyone, if not everyone, is represented in this country. And out of all those cases, blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians are the highest cases of coronavirus, and not because they're catching it more than other people, but they're dying more than other people. And it's clearly, according to the Surgeon General, it's based on pre-existing health conditions and other things surrounding our lives that are killing us. And those of you that don't see that, you're blind, man. You're blind when the Lord is showing. You can't discern between when the Lord is showing you something and when Esau is running a game on you. Okay? And I'm going to mention them vaccines in a second as well, because that's a part of this as well. Now is not the time to get caught up in the conspiracy theories. There's nothing wrong with some home remedies. You understand? Nothing wrong with you using home remedies or whatever if you want to use those home, but don't make the mistake of making it worship. Yeah, that's what happens to so many of you. You think you got a better medicine because, of course, yours came not from Esau, but yours came from putting the herbs together or doing this or doing that. It's fine if you want to use them remedies. Make sure you check with your doctor before you you put together them potions and remedies and all these different things, if you decide to do those things. But make sure you don't begin to start to worship that stuff. Remember something, man. Go back in our history and remember the god Baal, the worship of Baal from Babylon, something our people began to worship. That's where you get Christmas from. Christmas is from Babylon, okay? From Baal, okay? This is where it comes from. Nimrod, who ruled their empire in the beginning. Okay, and his mother, I believe his mother or his wife, set up the religion where you had to come and bring gifts to the tree. That was her way of taxing the people without being detectable, because of course she wasn't officially able to tax the people for her wealth. So she created a tree that you brought silver and gold to, and said that the spirit of Nimrod was in that tree, and that's how you got Christmas. And so remember this about the worship of Baal. The worship of Baal was because Baal was the weather god. That's what he was considered. And you go look him up. He was a god that they worshiped because they believed that he is the one that controlled the weather. They didn't worship the Most High. They said that Baal is the one that controls the weather. And of course, the weather is what? The thing that grows crops. The thing that grows herbs, the thing that grows fruits and vegetables. So what happened? Because people wanted to eat good and have good crops and have herbs and have grass for their animals to eat, they worshiped the weather god. And by worshiping the weather god, they became worshipers of fruits and vegetables, man. The same with Wicca. Okay, the same with witches of today, like the witches of Salem and all. They also worshiped crops and worship these things. And if you ain't careful, you'll be worshiping these things. You'll be looking at those things like this is the cure to the virus. This is the cure for this, and this is the cure for that. And this is how you stop the virus from making you sick and dying. Of course, tons of black people and tons of charlatans are out there, of course, trying to rip you the hell off and make $1 off of you and to spin golly you into some nonsense, man. Okay? That's what they're doing out there. So use your brain, man, and be careful. Be careful. Don't go out there and turn this into no worshiping of Baal by worshiping herbs and fruits and vegetables, man. You got a home remedy, get down and do it. You want to drink some teas or You got something your grandmama used to do, check with your doctor first. Make sure it's no abomination you eat. And then you can do that. I think it's foolish if you turn around and don't take no vaccines. That talk of vaccines is ridiculous. Give me some hard proof that people are dying from it. Okay? Give me something more concrete than some white person that's scared to death that the government is gonna take away their land. It's just, all of it is ridiculous. Okay? It's just like that microchip. And let me tell you something about that microchip. A lot of you, man, have really showed me how ignorant you could be. I hate to tell you this, and I know I'm gonna get some beef off of this, but that's fine. But a lot of you have been such fools for the idea of the microchip being the mark of the beast. You've been so blind to it. You were so easily fooled. All somebody had to do is say the microchip is the way you get it's how you get the mark of the beast. You put that chip in you, that's your forehead in your hand. It's ridiculous, man. It is absolutely ridiculous. You think God cares that you put a microchip in your body? You got a microchip on your phone, a microchip in everything that you has a microchip. They tracking and they came out with it with Edward Snowden. They said they tracking everybody's phone, everybody's cable, all your electronics, anything electric you using pretty much. They are tracking with it. Satellites all over the earth. You running around worried about what? And if you understand and know the Bible, you know that God is coming, the Lord is coming to deliver you. So who gives a damn what they're tracking? If you ain't doing nothing against the laws of the state and you serving the Most High, serve the Most High. I ain't saying go willingly and put a microchip in you. I'm not saying that. A lot of you try to twist it into that and say, yeah, see, he's saying get the microchip. I'm not saying get no microchip. I personally would not insert a microchip in my hand, on my forehead, or nowhere else in my damn body. Okay, so I would not recommend that you do the same thing. But here's what's so sad. What's so sad is how you take it up as the mark of the beast. You done turn an electronic device into a religion, man, into a God worship. That's what you've done, and we've done it in many things, man. And let me tell you something. Just waking up to the truth is supposed to give you a heads up on all the usual pitfalls that our people fall into. You got to go study that in the scriptures, man. In the scriptures, we're constantly trying to serve the other nations, constantly trying to serve the other nations' God. That's what we famous for in the Bible. We are famous for leaving the Lord and worshiping another God. We famous for it. And so as you wake up in these last days, you have to be wise and realize that we have always fallen for that. You understand? We've always fallen for that. Many of you worship the weed you smoke. You worship that weed, man. You into every kind and knowing the differences between the kind and how they should grow. And now that the Esau done made it legal, you going all into it with grow rooms and all kind of nonsense, man, to the worship of that weed. And that's the same as worshiping Baal. Same as worshiping the weather god, man. You getting caught up into things you shouldn't. So, hey, you want to use a home remedy, no harm, no foul, let your doctor know. Make sure you're good to go. But don't be a fool and get caught up into all of the nonsense surrounding this. That's not what the Lord wants from you, man. He wants you to look at him. He wants you to see him. He wants you to try and understand him. He wants you to seek out the wisdom of him and not of this place, man. So you got to get your head right on that. I just wanted to break in a little bit with that. But I want to go back on to this. We've been destroyed. Let me finish the last verse. This is Lamentations 1 and 4. Her priests sigh. Her priests are sad. Her real priests are sad. I ain't talking about your preacher in the church that's lying to you. It's telling you that God got great things for you, that God is wonderful. And once again, that's how you know we're the prophets of the Lord in the I.S.U.P.K, being the servants of Christ and the disciples of Christ, because we are saddened. They said we always complaining. You don't like it, get the hell out the country. That's what the president just said. Not talking to us directly, but he's just saying for those that don't like it can leave the country. And he's saying that and putting that out there when in fact, we sigh for the suffering of the Lord's 12 tribes. And we all leaving this country. Everybody's leaving this land because it's going to be destroyed by the Lord with global thermonuclear war. So everybody will be leaving here. I don't care what nationality you are. Everybody will be leaving this empire, okay? So, and here's what it says. Her virgins are afflicted. Why does it say her virgins are afflicted? Because a young woman, it's such an important role of a young woman. That's why I got so mad with Gayle King and Oprah Winfrey and all of that. A lot of you women got upset with me when I came out with that, but it was out of love for you. It was out of pure love and concern for you. When the Lord said in this 4th verse, Lamentations 1:4, her virgins are afflicted. Let me tell you something. A young woman is supposed to have at minimum, she's supposed to be able to marry her husband, have children, and raise a family. Okay? Everybody loved to read in the Proverbs and in the Psalms where the Lord talk about righteous women and virtuous women. Okay, we love to read about it, but we turn around and teach our women the exact opposite. That's the minimum a woman is supposed to have. That's like her career path. Okay, but of course that can't be a career here because of course not enough money for that to be a career. So you got to kill off the babies in the abortion clinics, seek higher education, and seek a better way to make some money so you can have somewhat similar of a righteous life. Okay, and if you really want to go high in the heights, then you just become thoughtless and cold and vicious towards that man, that black man, that Latino man, that Native Indian man that is part of you and your people. That's what you have to become. And once again, that is anti-Christ. Okay, the right spirit that the Lord is calling for a woman to be in is to be in the spirit of righteousness, which is to raise that family, to raise that brother, because that's what's valuable to him. Like they got a whole nation. Your people is in captivity, dwindling away and dying 4 times the rate they dying. I can guarantee you it ain't just the coronavirus you dying 4 times as much. It probably been 4 times as much ever since. They just never said it because it wasn't important then. It wasn't important, and it's still really not important now. The Surgeon General brought it out because they afraid of the wave of the coronavirus killing them. Not so much because they care about you. You really have to open your eyes and see. And so our virgins, so according to Lamentations 1:4, man, our virgins are afflicted, man. They're afflicted, working from sun up to sundown. Their men are destroyed. Their men are leaving them. Their men have no authority over the household. That's 90% of the reason your household falls apart. It's because there's no hierarchy. There's no proper structure. And there can't be a proper structure if you make men and women equal. If you allow women to do evil things towards men, like call the cops on them, like take them to child support court and have them locked up, like throw them out the house and take their home and children from them. You do stuff like this to men and you destroy that structure. Okay? But the evil is so strong in this kingdom that you can't even say that. The protest, I'm gonna get reaction on this. It's gonna be like, how dare you say that single women raise kids all the time, blah, 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 blah. We raising monsters according to God. Okay? And that thing being lost is so important in us. Once again, they're fighting for their kingdom. We should be fighting to bring our people back together under Christ and watch the Lord give us our kingdom. But instead, we go totally against that, man. Okay? Last line in the 4th verse, okay? And she is in bitterness. Our people are in bitterness, man. Killing each other on the street, angry with one another at the drop of a dime, quick to be violent towards one another as opposed to them. You understand? Fully forget about our leadership, fully blaming us for everything that has ever happened to us, and rarely blaming this slave master for all the brutality he's put on us. I got to give you a little bit more. I hope y'all can hang with me. I'm going to go a little bit over more than I usually would in this case, all right? Daniel, 7th chapter, 25th verse. And he shall speak great words against the Most High. He have spoken great words, and not by no microchip. He's spoken great words against the Most High based on Catholicism, man. He's spoken great words against the Most High. God don't exist. God is a woman. God's law is done away with. And forget about the actions that he's done. These are great words. These are words that other nations in the past would never say against the Lord. Okay? Would never, ever, ever say against the Lord. And shall wear out the saints of the Most High. And they've worn us out in this kingdom. That's why they protested. They want to get back to work, man. And that mean them, they mean you. They want to get back to running their businesses, man, where they got you in captivity. And they losing them businesses and they want to get back to them. They want to get back to the businesses that they stole from our Latino brothers, man. They want to get back to those businesses. And think and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, middle of the 25th verse, Daniel 7:25. And think to change times and laws. And they shall be given, and it shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time. And when they say to change times and laws, that's exactly what he did. Created new holidays, changed them. Reset the calendar, set the days different, set the beginning of the day different, set the beginning of the months different. Gave all of them names that are satanic. All of these names are satanic. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all of these are the Roman gods, man. The moon god for Monday. Saturday is the Saturn. This is the worship of gods. They've given these days gods and ownership over these days. When this is against the Most High, that's the changing of times and laws, man. It's the changing of what things should be. Okay? Tuesday, Tuishus, the two-headed god, known to you as Janus. Wednesday, Winston. Thursday, Thurston. Friday for Frisco, other gods. These are all gods that they created, gods that they worship. Okay? January, February, all these are gods, man, that they created and have you worshiping. Set the beginning of the year in the dead of winter. Y'all heard this before. Okay? When the beginning of the year starts in the springtime, when the crops come up. We're in the beginning of the year right now, when the Passover comes around. This is the beginning of the year. They made the beginning of the year in the dead of winter, in the middle of December, and it's obviously why. Because, of course, that is under the zodiac sign of the goat, which is what they worship. Okay? You go in there and see all the constellations and what they worship, you begin to see how they turn around and created this. This is satanic. And this is a satanic world that you're living in. And the Lord is not going for it. He's going to step in and destroy these empires, man. Let me get a little bit more. And shall wear, in the middle of 25th verse, Daniel 7:25. And think to change times and laws. And they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and dividing a time. That's a period of time, roughly 2,500 years. But I mean, yeah, but roughly about 2,500 years. But it's like a time. That's why it says time and times and dividing a time, meaning it's a set time that the Lord has, not a specific time that we know of, but a set time that the Most High has. Daniel 7:26. But the judgment shall sit. And this is what you got to hold on to while you seeing this coronavirus go on. Know this, that the judgment will sit. And also know this, that after this coronavirus is up, like any repulsive, arrogant slave master, you will be abused more. There will be more. They will step up the abuse on you after this, because you are the whipping pole for their frustration. You are the person they take their frustration out on. Okay? That's what you are. Those people that were standing up on that protest in Michigan with them guns, they're not going to fight the government. They're not going to fight the police department. But they will come home and murder you. Given the chance, they will come home and kill you. That they will do. But they won't do the other thing. The other things is just for show. But you, killing you, oh, they would love it if they could get the chance. So they're going to step up their evil against you. But you must serve the Lord. You must come back to him. You must join the Most High quickly. Let me read some more. And they shall take away his dominion. The judgment's going to sit. And them angels are going to take away his dominion. And they're going to snatch it from right under him. This dominion is about to be wiped out by the hand of the Lord. To consume and to destroy it onto the end. Meaning that at the end of all of this, know this, brothers and sisters, that you might be battling that corona right now. But understand this, at the end of this kingdom shall be taken away. This dominion shall be taken from them. And this dominion will be given on to the saints of the Most High. Because they're going to destroy it and burn it down to the ground in the day of Christ. And there'll be no more coronaviruses after that. I mean, dude, this world is about to become an absolute amazing paradise on the face of this earth. There will be no more diseases because nobody will be eating what the hell they're not supposed to be eating. It will be like a make-believe kingdom that you watched on a goddamn cartoon, because that's how perfect Christ is. That's how perfect he's going to know what to do. That's how righteous the Lord's kingdom shall be. Like the earth is to be ruled under the direction of the Lord through his king, Yahushua, and through his people, the children of Israel. You represent the Lord. You are the Lord's heritage, man. And that's how this is supposed to happen, all right? Let's go on. Daniel 7:27, last verse. And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven. This is a great and amazing empire. They love to say it all the time. The greatest military force in the history of the world. The other day, the president got up and said, this has been the greatest economy ever in the history of the world. Something I'm paraphrasing. So yes, it has been an amazing kingdom, which is why so many of us get in the mindset to join in the kingdom. But you brothers and sisters that have woken up to the truth in this I.S.U.P.K, through this I.S.U.P.K, you brothers and sisters that have walked that walk, know this. Here's what the Lord said. Daniel 7:27 will come to pass. And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High. You hear that? He's going to take all these kingdoms and all their dominion and all their power, and he's going to take it and he's going to give it to the saints of the Most High. And if you wondering who the saints of the Most High is, brother, just read Psalms 148 and 14. That'll give you who the saints are. The 12 tribes of the children of Israel. Right now, the 12 lost tribes of the children of Israel. But that's who this kingdom will be given to, brother. Okay, 27 verse, middle of Daniel 7:27. Whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom. So this kingdom, all these empires will be taken away from them, burned down, and then Christ's empire will be built up. And his empire will have an everlasting, it'll be an everlasting kingdom. And all dominions shall serve and obey him. All dominions shall serve and obey him. Whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom. And all dominions shall serve and obey him. All of this that has happened to blacks and Latinos and Native Indians in this hemisphere and around the world, you are going to get, for lack of a better word, vengeance for all of it. And it ain't going to come by you. It's going to come by the hand of the Lord. Let me get one more. Go to Revelation. Last scripture. Go to Revelation, the 18th chapter. I'm going to start at the 20th verse. All right. And just read a couple of verses to you. That don't make no mistake. Even though you see in the face of this coronavirus is finally simmering down, you seeing death all over. This is the Lord bringing in your kingdom, man. He's bringing it in. He's bringing it. And it's going to get worse. It's going to get so bad, you're going to feel sorry for the Edomites. You're going to feel sorry for what happened to them. I won't, but you might. Okay. Revelation 18 and 20, same verse. Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for the Lord hath avenged you on her. The Lord going to avenge you on her, man. He's going to deal with this empire. This will not sustain, and we are really, really close. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea. Like this angel took up a big stone like you do. You want to shake up some waters? So you pick up a big rock, a big old stone, because the waters is calm. And you want to push and shake up all the waters. That's what the Lord is getting ready to do. He's getting ready to destroy the peace that they've created for themselves by destroying the Lord's people. He's about to destroy that peace. He's about to upset the world. The coronavirus was just the beginning of the shaking up of that apple cart. Wars are going to break out. More plagues are going to break out. The locust is tearing up Africa and India right now. Okay, right now. You're going to see all kinds of things. That's why the scripture said earthquake. Christ said earthquakes in diverse places, man. Revelation 18:21. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, Thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down. That's a heavy prophecy, man. This is talking about at the end. We in Revelation. This is long after the empire of Babylon was wiped out by the Romans. The Romans had long wiped it out. Okay, Alexander the Great went down there and took over that whole area. Okay, down there in Iran and the whole empire of Babylon. He's the one that overthrew it in the end. And then he split that up with his 4 tetrarchs after that. They call them tetrarchs. I might be mispronouncing. He set up the 4 tetrarchs. They then took over. And then from there, they went on to rule the empire, man. So this was long after that this prophecy was brought to pass. So you know it's not talking about that ancient Babylon. It's talking about this Babylon. And why is this called Babylon? Because these are the children of those that ran the Roman Empire. And they've reestablished this empire in the same way that the ancient empire was established. Make no mistake, Rome was built and designed off of Egypt. That's how Rome was built. And America was designed and built off of Egypt. People try to say that America was founded on Christian principles. That's a lie. America was founded on Masonic principles. Go back and look at all the leaders of America back then. All those that signed the Declaration of Independence. The idea of them having their own independent nation and having the laws and the way they structured this kingdom, all of that comes from ancient Egypt. Once again, like you always hear me say, if you want to understand Egypt, you could just look at America. It is an exact copy. Only difference is it's a different heathen ruling. Back then it were Hamites from the seed of Ham. This time it's Edomites, but they are the exact same kingdom. They had pyramids in that kingdom. They got domes in this kingdom and capitals in this kingdom. Same kingdom, same laws. You had a law of free religion in ancient Egypt. That's why you had so many gods, because it was only in short spurts that they cut off all the gods. The main one that cut off all the gods was Akhenaten. He wanted it to be one God. He cut off all the gods, but by the time his death, man, they tore down everything that was damn near a memory of him. They tried to blot out his memory because they were always built as an empire that had many gods. America's the same way. It's open to many gods. And so it's the same exact empire, man. Okay? So let me go on into it, which means what? These empires were built off of the spirit of Egypt, off of the spirit of Babylon. And the Lord said this, middle of 21st verse, thus with violence shall the great city Babylon be thrown down and shall be found no more at all. And so you can understand as well, Egypt, they'll never admit this, but Egypt was built off of the Babylonian Empire. That's how Egypt was built. Egypt was built off of emissaries from the Babylonian Empire that set up Egypt. Okay, those Hamites set up Egypt. Okay, going on. The 22nd verse. Here's what it says. Revelation 18 and 22. And the voice of harpers and musicians and of pipers and trumpeters shall be heard no more at all in thee. No craftsman of whatsoever craft he be. Like right now they protest and they want to get back to work and get back to landscaping and painting and this and that. The Lord said this, man, no craftsman of whatsoever craft he be, Revelation 18:22, shall be found any more in thee. And the sound of a millstone shall be heard no more at all in thee. And a millstone grinds meal. Like a millstone is a big heavy stone that you put the wheat and all that in and you grind it down into powder, you know what I mean? And that's how you get flour. It's the same like what they call a grinder today, like a coffee grinder, but only then they did it with a big giant wheel on an industrial level. And so they would grind that down and then you would make flour and bread. And that was one of the signs of a prosperous kingdom, was you had plenty of crops, so you had plenty of food, and you know, you made plenty of bread. That's part of what makes an empire appear to be great. But the Lord said, you ain't gonna see that millstone no more. You won't see any of that no more. Revelation 18, 23rd verse. Here's what it says. And the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee. Meaning it's going to be darkness, man. It's going to be sad. It's going to be a horrible place. After a while, doom and gloom. Like they still got plenty of fight in them. Let's open up the kingdom. Let's get back to work. Let's make America great. Let's this, let's that. That's for now. That's for now. But very shortly, the Lord is going to break their spirit, where there shall be no candle to light. And eventually, it's going to literally be no candle to light, because it's going to be burning on fire from the hand of the Most High. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. And let me tell you something, that's such an important scripture. The Bill Gates, the Jeff Bezos, the merchants who's selling computers and this and that all over the earth, making the empire rich beyond belief. Okay, they were the great men of the earth, but they gonna be no more. They will be no more at the end of all of this prophecy. For by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. Let me tell you something. The sorceries that it's talking about, that all nations deceive, is not a microchip. The sorceries that they talking about is the religions, man. Is Roman Catholicism, Christianity, man. These are the sorceries, brother, that you have got to pick up on. These are the sorceries that are important, that you know and understand. That these religions of this world is what is destroying you. Is what has got everybody caught up. Is what has every nation coming together. The whole Arab world is in one because of their religion. The European world is one because of their religion. Like, their religions are what bring them together, man, and allow them to deceive other nations. You've been deceived by it. That's why you're in church with Baptists. When baptism is the religion of the Ku Klux Klan, not the religion of John the Baptist. And why would you, when John the Baptist turned on Christ anyway and said that Christ would baptize you with the Holy Spirit, not with water, but yet you still joined the Ku Klux Klan because you were terrorized to join the Ku Klux Klan. That's the sorceries, man. That's the sorceries that deceived the whole earth, man. That's the sorceries that deceived all the nations, man. And you caught up into that sorcery. And you got to fight against that, man. Because this is the end. The Lord is pulling you out of the world. It don't seem like it's yet because it's just the first plague. But you're going to see it after a while. You're going to be like, you know what? It's really happening to us. Let me read the last verse. Revelation 18:24. And in her was found the blood of prophets and of saints and of all that was slain upon the earth. This is important. In her were found the prophets and the saints, man, and all that was slain, meaning all the people that serve the Lord become enemies to this empire. All the brothers and sisters that serve the Most High, that open up these scriptures, that come back to the 12 tribes, you become the enemy to this world. The white man claiming to be a Jew in Israel is not an enemy to this empire. They are allies with this empire. That's how you know this is not talking about them. It's talking about you, blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians, man. You are the ones that this place is full of the blood of, because you're the ones that's being labored to death here, wiped out of your identity, following false religions, man, false ideas about God, being used and abused underneath the feet of the Roman Empire. And this is why Christ is going to come back and bring his kingdom in, and this empire will be gone. So while you dealing with that coronavirus and you see what's going on, open your eyes, wake up, take a strong look at the world that you're living in, and know that if you're one of those 12 tribes, the Lord is with you, brothers and sisters. The Lord is with you. You hang in there, stay strong. They'll be over with this in a short period of time, and then it'll be on to greater plagues that they're going to get. And the further that the Lord separate us from them, the much easier it is for him to plague them and to keep us out of harm's way, so to speak, or out of the way of what is happening with them. I want you to stay strong in the spirit of the Lord. Hey, listen, if you like this tape, hit the like button and share it, man. Hit the share button. Everybody share it to their own personal Facebook account. Share this video, man, to wake up brothers and sisters all over this earth. Hit the like button. Check me out Monday night. I'm live every Monday night. I bring the heavy hitters in. We do it up live right on this same channel. I'll see you then, Israel. Y'all take care. Shalom.